when you come up, who's the CEO of Morizon-Gratka in Poland. So thank you very much. Let's go and grab a seat over here.
Perfect pronunciation.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know. It was crap Australian pronunciation. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, grab a seat. And we're going to talk about unlocking growth options in the Polish market. And now let's start off. What exactly is Morizon-Gratka?
Okay, so we are running several brands. Most important of them are Gratka, which used to be a general classified site. Now it's mostly real estate and cars. We have always run Morizon, which is the real estate classified. And on top of it, we have a new site, new homes site called Nowe Inwestycje. And since 2016, we run also mortgage brokerage called Lendy.
Okay, now let's start at the beginning of that. You said Gratka, who is a market-leading horizontal player, that was you said was now more about cars and homes.
Yep.
What's transpired? Why have you sort of focused more on those areas?
Okay, so first of all, the company I started, we started in early 2000 as a real estate vertical, and since then, by several mergers, we have grown into much larger group. Actually, Gratka was for last 20 years was one of our main competitors, because they always, although they were horizontal player, they were extremely strong in real estate. So they actually started as real estate, and they used to be the real estate leader on the market. So they were one of our main competitors. At the moment, we have, after all the mergers, yes, we are the number 2 player on the market. Number 1 is Naspers with their sites. They run OLX in Poland, and they run Autodom as their main real estate vertical. So they are number 1 player. In real estate, we are together, Gratka and Morizon, we are number 2. In cars, Gratka remains roughly number 3 player.
Okay, so when we think about the real estate segment, and you have these multiple players, how do you operate those assets? Do you operate in separate brands? Are you trying to bring them to one brand? And then related to that is, how is that presented to an advertiser versus how is it presented to the consumers?
So what we did is, like, we had always a lot of ideas and always lacking funds. So so the way for us to the way for us to grow from relatively small player, privately owned, competing with large media groups that had established businesses in classifieds in Poland, was that okay, so we managed to grow ourselves to roughly number 3, 4 in the real estate. We were stuck there in this position. It was difficult to grow further, so we thought, okay, to unlock the growth and to pass those biggest players and not having like funds really to do it ourselves, we thought about merging with some smaller players. So it was like 2012, I think already the Zoopla was our inspiration, because that's something they did in the UK. So we merged first with our smaller player, but the advantage of this player was that they were listed on the New Connect stock exchange. This is like a junior stock exchange for small companies. So what it means? That after the merger, first of all, what we did for the advertisers. Of course, we decided to keep the sites that were merging with us. There was not just one merger, there were like several other, but we kept the brands. But we moved always all the agents to one single subscription, telling them, okay, now you'll be not on one player, but you'll be on 2, 3, 4. And of course, at the same time, always both rising prices and moving all the agents from all those portals into one single subscription. That was always what we did. After being listed on this junior stock exchange, we started to be like more credible player, also to think and also bigger, to think about some other stuff. When you're number 3, that we were back then, the bigger was Naspers, another bigger player was Gratka still. But still, we had like more credibility. We started to finally have some of our funds because finally we started to generate some margins. So we decided to move into mortgages. That was 2016. And of course, it was for being number 3 player that barely had, some extra cash. It was quite a bold move, I would say, because you always think, whether to put it and invest into the main business and try to grow it to be number 2 and 1, or like to defocus, go into mortgage. So I would say it was tricky, but we were lucky to, let's say, to find probably the best possible scenario to go into mortgages, because we talked, you talked a lot today, there was a lot of talk about tech-enabled brokers. So we thought about tech-enabled financial broker, tech-enabled mortgage broker. So what we acquired was not a mortgage operation, but a company that had best software to manage mortgages. Mm-hmm. And this software was already accepted by on a software as a service, as a software as a service solution for quite a few brokers in Poland. So we partly bought, partly merged with the company. So we gave some shares in the company to the founders of this business. So this was another advantage of being listed on this junior stock mm-hmm. exchange, because like we had the way then to compensate the founders and to drag them in and to build the company further together. And so in 2016 they had a software, but they practically not existed as a broker. And since then we managed to grow it into number 2-3 player now on the Polish mortgage market, having roughly 16%, 1/6 of all the mortgages in Poland, they go through us. Then, after some time, we were already passing Gratka, which was, so we were fighting for number 2, but we were like kind of edging already. And then we learned that the German media owner of the Gratka decided to sell Gratka, which for us was both opportunity and a threat, because, okay, opportunity if we would manage to buy, which was again, of course, the problem, because like always, we didn't have enough funds. But of course, we're looking for private equity to back us, or another capital to back us to make that acquisition, or to get it from the stock exchange. But soon we learned that basically the Ringier Axel Springer, so the joint venture between Ringier, Swiss Media Group, and Axel, which operates a large media in Poland, that they were like preferred player to buy Gratka. So for us it was a threat, because the company that we already were edging to be number 2, then we thought, okay, big media is going to buy Gratka, pump them up, and we'll again have to compete and compete forever. So we decided to talk to Ringier Axel Springer. We made a deal, created a kind of a consortium, and merged everything together. Okay.
And now you have a lot of mergers coming together. A couple of questions. We heard from Andrew before about mortgages at the REA Group. How and you said you now got a sort of 16% share of the market. When you look at your total revenues, roughly what percentage is coming from the mortgage side of the business?
That's a tricky question. So depending how you count, of course, like always, if you count it gross, meaning the total revenue you get from the banks, then it's huge. I mean, then it's like probably 80% of our revenue, something like that, comes from mortgages, or 70 or something like that. But of course, your real revenue is net revenue. So after what you pay to the brokers on the ground, which take majority of the commission, then it's still very significant and very comparable to at the moment comparable to the revenues we have from the real estate classified. Smaller still.
Okay. One question. Can we please bring up the question screen over there, and just so you can ask questions as we go through. So let's talk a bit more about the challenges of the business and the challenges of the market. So when you look at your market, you've now created a number 2 player, which is a consortium of various players. How do you see the challenges of growth? Where do you go to next? And then talking about that in the context of potential recessions or challenging market environments. How do you think about it?
Okay, first of all, the biggest challenge always one of the biggest challenges of the merge is, of course, you have too many technologies, and so that's the first thing. You have to try to simplify everything as much as possible. So, for example, after the last merge, so it was 2 years ago, just before the pandemic, we merged with Gratka. So only now I can say that finally we have managed, let's say, to make the technology combine everything so well that we can finally focus on growth and adding new features, making it best from the customer point of view. And this is the obvious, let's say, drawback, yes, if you of any merger, is that you have to deal with the technology. Yes? So that's one thing. Regarding the situation, is obviously, both on the core real estate market, we can anticipate very bad next 12 months. It has not yet hit us, I would say. It definitely has already hit developers. So new builds, the reports say that they roughly have, like, the transactions dropped on the primary market, dropped like 40-50% already. On the secondary market situation is not that bad, but similar. I would say that there's no good data on this, but estimates say that's roughly 30% down or more. It has not yet affected us, or even I would say on the new homes market, even helped us, because developers still have a stash of money they've made in the boom times. They had a fantastic 2021, so they have money. So now they are looking for leads, and they are able to pay for those leads. So the fact that we have actually very much focused this year on the new builds, we've created the Nowe Inwestycje site for developers to focus even more, and we introduced the lead-based model for developers. So this worked fantastic. But we see that this definitely will be a problem next year. Same, but maybe on a smaller scale for real estate agents. So, for example, how do we prepare? There was a lot of talk on seller leads. We've now focused a lot on buyer leads. So we want to find all the possible ways to have more buyer leads from the traffic we have, just to make sure that we provide value to the agents and developers in the tough time.
Okay, which makes a lot of sense. Some interesting questions are coming up. What are the main drivers of the growth of your mortgage business? What grew the business? Was it the relationship with the portal and cross-marketing, or was it something else?
No. So no. I mean, every real estate portal dreams of, like, okay, we have leads, we channel them to mortgages, and we make loads of money on this. And this is like how we do it. And everybody knows now, I think, or maybe not everybody, but many portals that tried it know that it's extremely difficult to really well convert the lead into mortgage. So we do it, of course, now after 5 years of trying, we do it a lot better than we did before. Because, of course, that was the same idea that drove us into mortgage, because we were providing thousands of mortgage leads to various brokers and never got money for that, but we thought we should, because it was mostly rev share deals. So we thought, okay, either they don't count it, or they cannot convert, or they cheat, whatever. So that was, let's say, the main impulse that drove us into this. And we learned, but there's no like magic that suddenly we have our own mortgage operations, and suddenly those leads will convert like that. Didn't work, yes. So roughly, if you want to create a mortgage business, and as we learned also, it's very much still offline business. Yes, it's nobody. Also, our idea was to make the process digital. We made it almost fully digital. Also, didn't really work. But it worked as a lead gen rather. Still, if you want to grow, you have to grow the network. So you have to have many people on the ground. We have now 1,600 people, or even 1,700 people on the ground, so brokers that do this. And to them, you have to provide the best value proposition on the market, because there are other players that other brokers that try to build networks. And so you have to provide the best possible mix, and this mix consists of best software, so we had that. The other, of course, are leads generated from the portals, but this is, I would say, an add-on. Yeah? So this is okay, additional value you provide them, not even the main value. Yes, and then of course you have to match all the traditional brokers provide. So you have to give them best rates. Yes, so and the banks are giving, at least in Poland, best rates only if you have a certain volume. So of course the biggest challenge at the beginning is to have enough volume to have best rates from the banks and to be able to pay agents. And then there are some other small things which are important. For example, the brokers on the ground, they expect to get money immediately. Yes. So if you have like financial resources to bankroll them, meaning that okay, they make that there is a mortgage agreement done, he gets the money, the agent gets the money immediately. That's a big difference if you pay them, after the bank pays you.
Okay, which makes a lot of sense. Now there's a question here that says, how long did you keep the different brands, and why?
So it's a constant. It's a constant questions we ask ourselves, meaning which brands we should keep and we should close for simplicity. So far, we keep all the brands we've had. So it's like we have like 6 different, not just all those that I mentioned. We have many others that we acquired in between, which we keep. Why? First, it's a differentiation. No other player has so many portals, and so this is one thing. Second thing, it's also a very good sales pitch, both for us. If we talk to agents, okay, with one subscription you get so many brands, and why does it matter? Because the agent then goes to his customers and he says, look, list with me, work with me. I am working with 10 brands. It's Morizon-Gratka, Domy.pl, Oferty.net, and Portal, and so on and so forth. Yes, so it helps both us and agents. So we still keep it, and of course, from time to time we make analysis with agents, which brands they think what works, what doesn't work, and still it's quite high on the list of the value we provide is the value that we offer different brands.
Okay, you said you took inspiration from Zoopla. In this process, what other companies do you look at to get inspiration or motivation on where you can take the business?
I saw Ria presentation about the how to make all the classifieds verified and so on. So, so for example, here at the Property Portal Watch, many times we were looking for inspiration. Yeah? So. No, hard to tell the single other thing. But
so when you think about future growth for the business, right? And we sort of asked the question one way, but what are the next major steps you can make in the business? Is it purely just internally focused, get the most out of the assets you have, or is there another? Yeah, not saying name the acquisition, but is there another area that you want to get into, and how do you? And then. In that question, how do you think about transactions?
Yeah, so definitely the end game is digital transaction, yes, and this is digital in general, whatever, be it digital or be it offline. The end game is for us to have the full value chain covered. Yes, so and of course I believe we are now very well positioned to do that because. We have very strong offline force, yes, but we can convert to many transactional models. So actually, the first thing on top of mortgages that we introduced already were insurances. So which is not that connected with
is that the same
real estate.
Team? Or a different team?
It's different team with, let's say, their own, even different company, similar brand because it's called Lendicare. But of course, they are using there is an overlap of agents that sell mortgages and sell insurances, and especially on the soft market like we have now, where mortgages are way down from what it was last year. The agents are the financial agents are very keen to look for other sources of revenue, and luckily, because we started this last year, we come to them and tell them, okay, look, now we have also the full insurance program. You can start also selling insurances. So we are well positioned. We are also strong on the new builds, so the transactions are the next thing. Yeah.
So transactions in the new build segment.
I mean, we have we have partnered with Homesters. So I know the company you had shared before. So the company that provides a, say, plug-and-play solution, I would say, for operating the new build markets. We have so far focused a lot on leads. So this year we were quite successful in growing the lead-based program for developers. And of course, there is a thinking onto switching into transactional models from CPL to CPS model, but given the situation, given the huge drop in transactions, I am pretty sure that developers would love to switch now to CPS model,
yeah.
And for us to take the responsibility for this. But for us, it would be, at least now, it would be a huge risk. Yeah. So, but this is the way to go. I like, it's a logical next step. So
it could be another brand. Okay. So thank you very much, Jaroslaw. I think it's very interesting what you're trying to do with the business in Poland. You've got clearly a very good growth strategy through acquisition, mergers, bringing them together and extracting value. And good luck getting into the transaction business in new homes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.